We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? Zachy, I thought Brian Kelly couldn't recruit. I was told when he came down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, he couldn't recruit. And all he's done is, since he's been in the Bayou, start locking the state down. 13. 1, 2, 3. I can't count to 13 because I went to public school. 13 kids have already committed from inside the state. Let's go! How about that? As Joel Rogers from West Feliciana has committed to LSU tonight. As it was reported just now, Zachy, you finally have your time. It's looking like 6 p.m. Saturday night in Omaha, baby. Here come the Tigers. As we head into Omaha, some things we will see. We will be keeping our eyes out for Southern Miss in Tennessee. We'll be keeping our eyes out. The problem is, do we know when they're going to play? Because I have no idea. Do we have an idea, Zach, on when they're playing? Is it going to be 9 p.m. tonight? So it's going to be a late night for the Tigers to find out who they will be playing in game one. But nevertheless, you know which teams are going to be in, regardless if Stanford or Texas wins or Tennessee or Southern Miss. You know that you're going to play. It's going to be at 7 or 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on ESPN this upcoming Saturday. Virginia and Florida rounded out in the day before on Friday, and Oral Roberts and TCU kicked the whole thing off Friday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So Omaha is upon us. Look, it's a Monday. We're doing good here. We got a whole week and plus some to get prepared for this week. We got a lot of baseball talk here tonight as well. Some things that I think the Tigers are going to need to do, obviously, to prepare. I mean, Jay Johnson knows and has been to Omaha more than anybody in this chat, so he knows. But maybe some things that they need to clean up. We'll talk a little bit of Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz here tonight, so a lot of things we need to touch on. Matt Trent from WBRZ joins us at 7:30. So all of your questions, thoughts, concerns, get them to Matt. Why you got to go to me? Get him to Matt Trent as he's joining us here within the next 25 minutes or so. We'll give a little bit more of a recruiting update. LSU, I told you midway through June, things will start picking up in recruiting as they started tonight with Joel Rogers. We'll get into the deep dive of that as well. Let's get to a couple comments before we get rolling. Going to Omaha, says Chad. Yeah, the shirts are slinging, man. The shirts are a-slinging. If you hadn't gotten your shirt, I'm about to put the link inside of the chat. Man, we got shirts flying off everywhere. I'm honestly a little surprised that so many people are buying these shirts. I can't really believe that so many people are buying these shirts. Don't be the only one in Omaha not wearing one of these shirts. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. Doug Knows says official LSU plays at 6 p.m. Yes, sir, that they do. Joe on Facebook says this is the sickest intro in the land. You already know it is. Big dog. Lucy B says let's go from Seoul, Korea. Well, welcome aboard. I mean, what time, Lucy, what time is it in Korea? I mean, if you're staying up with us, you're waking up with us, that's that's awesome. Lucy, are we like your morning show if you're in Korea? I guess we'd be kind of like your morning show, right? That's crazy. David says, watch out, Omaha. LSU fans will probably drink up all the liquor. Go Tigers. Let's hope that they do. Let's hope that they do. She says 9:07 p.m. in Korea? No. Ain't no way, cuh. Stephen Young says Jay is chasing Kiamoki. Both squads are doubted going into the finals. Yeah, it's true. It's true. She says, sorry, AM. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. She says, we're her morning show. I love it. I love it. Chad says, we'll be leaving before the shirt will hit my house. Damn, man. Damn. That stinks. I think ours is going to be here tomorrow. Zachy, did you get one? Did you get a shirt? Producer Zach, did you get a shirt? So, it's interesting. Producer Zach says he doesn't want a shirt because Mr. Blake, but then I see here on the, on Twitter, he's like, we're live after AYS Sports. Okay. I see how it is. Breaking my heart, Zachy. You're breaking what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? You know who got a shirt? Pressure. Big Pressure Pack in the building. He got him a shirt. Gotta love it. And Pressure also says, keep batting them hoes out the park. It's true. You're gonna have to stay in this Omaha series. Jace Cole says, #fire Zach for not getting a shirt. Jace Cole also bought a shirt. Hundreds and hundreds, millions and millions of people, Zach, have bought a shirt. You're gonna be the only person in Omaha without one. Just saying. Stephen Young says knocking USM or Tennessee out of Omaha would be equally sweet. But I think it's double elimination, though, right? Like, am I going crazy? I thought it was double elimination, but it would be sweet. It would be sweet to give them a loss, especially Southern Miss. I'll tell you who I'm rooting for and why. Could be a damn near Rufino's Rants. Alex says, is Saturday at 6 a sure thing? That it is. The NCAA just announced it. Zach, can you pull that up? I retweeted it. Do you need me to send it to you? Do you need me to send it to you, or you got it? But yeah, so we'll show you that and we'll get you the games. But yes, it is official. Mike on YouTube says we're going to bring title number 7 back to the Bayou. Go Tigers. Go Tigers. I love it. I absolutely love it. Bundy on Facebook says, did Tavion Galloway decommit? That he did. So if you missed it, I talked about it last night. Why, look, and I put it on the forum, ayssnetwork.com. If you're not subscribed to the AYS forum, you need to be. It is what it is, man. These are the official times. Here it is. Yeah, so TCU and Oral Roberts at 1 p.m. On Friday, Virginia and Florida at 6. Wake Forest and either Stanford or Texas at 1 a.m. on Saturday, and then LSU and or Tennessee and Southern Miss at 6 p.m. on Saturday. I will tell you, so just to get this thing rolling just a little bit, just to tell you, man, I feel good where LSU sits game 1. I don't care if you throw Skeens. I don't care if you throw Hurd. I don't care if you throw Floyd. I think you're going to be good no matter what. Now, do I think that you throw Skeens game 1? I think that's what they will do. I mean, Jay has thrown him against Tulane and against game 1 against Kentucky. You got a week's rest. Let's see what he does there. But obviously, I mean, look, if Tennessee wins, you can't take Tennessee lightly, man. You can't take Tennessee lightly at all. So, yeah, you got to win game 1. But, if Southern Miss wins, can you? But, look, Tanner Hall's the dude. Now, you saw him last year, and, Ty Floyd went toe-to-toe with him and wound up getting the victory against Tanner Hall last year. Or, no, it was Hurston Waldrop, excuse me. But you went toe-to-toe with them last year against probably and arguably their best guy, and you dominated. So, we'll see. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that a lot in pitching with Matt Trent coming up here at 7:30. Julius says on YouTube, we are bringing in a lot of tight ends. I don't know if that's the reason, but we are good regardless. I agree that we're good regardless. Look, and I'll just mention this. Tavion Galloway has been nothing but good to the program. He's been nothing but good to us. But, man, sometimes these things happen. And, there are things that can be said, could be said. But, yeah, I mean, if the kid needed or wanted to decommit for whatever reason it may be, I mean, I personally don't mean this in the wrong way. I would rather trade Des Green over Tavion Galloway. I think I would want Kamori and Pimpton over Galloway at the current moment. So, Would the kid be a massive addition to your team? Probably down the future, down the line. But right now, if he feels it's the best decision for him, it's the best decision for him. I'm not going to knock him on that. I'm just not going to knock him on that. So we'll see. Chris H says he posted a UCF offer. Well, yeah, UCF offer isn't equally as weighted as it used to be. You got to remember now. You got to remember that UCF's in the Big 12. So, I mean, it is a Power 5 offer, technically. Technically. It is what it is. Rick on YouTube says, we want Southern Miss to extract revenge from last year. I agree with that. It's actually what we're going to talk about live out of the break. I 1,000% agree with that. All right. So let's do this. Let's get this thing rolling. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. If you're listening to us on YouTube, like, subscribe, and notification bell. If you're on Facebook, do the same. Hit share to those groups. Share to your own social media pages. If you're listening to us wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. And we are excited to be live with you on Fubo TV. Don't hit that dial tone. We got a lot to talk about. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Is LSU about to win it all in Omaha? We talk about it next. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varnado & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varnado & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992. 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. I'm not seeing it, Zach. Oh, maybe. Just monitor it. Julia says, I agree, Blake. I like our room right now. Yeah, you're talking about the tight end room. I do like it a lot. Pressure says, drop one 4-star, get another one. We're good. Also agree with that. Brandon Reese says, getting Joel Roberts was huge for BK and Kerry Cooks. So listen, I guess we can talk about that because let's transition. I mean, we can talk about that first. And I do like us talking about that first because we'll talk a lot of baseball and then Matt Trent will be joining us. Listen, it's something that I've been mentioning for a while now. And I know that you've had a lot of great recruiting classes in the past. You've had years where you've gotten guys like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and some of them not highly rated, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, Leonard Fournette, name the classes, Rashard Lawrence, Terrace Marshall. You've had a lot of recent future, Harold Perkins, of getting really big-time recruits. With Joel Rogers, the safety from West Feliciana or St. Francisville, committing today does another thing for you in this entire process when it comes to Louisiana recruiting. Now, you got to finish. There's some studs out there like Dominic McKinley, Wardell Mack, others. Billy Ott is another one, the receiver from Terrebonne, who really turned some heads at the elite camp last week. He's going to start climbing up boards on how good he looked and that he is. But here's my thing. You have to go back. And look, we did it with you on the show. Like, we went step by step, year by year. The last time that LSU has gone out and recruited inside the state at a high level without other teams coming in here and plucking the guys that you want was 2001 Nick Saban. 2001 Nick Saban. And you know what that class did. Now, obviously it started when Kevin Falk and Booger McFarland and all those guys committed under DiNardo, but not everybody was staying in the state. You know, the biggest question mark that we've always had with Brian Kelly was, can he recruit? You know, you had so many people at Notre Dame saying, oh, we can't recruit. Look at this, look at that. He can't recruit. Well, we're kind of starting to find out that that's just more of a Notre Dame thing. It's not a Brian Kelly thing, because you'll get guys like Joel Rogers. You have a commitment from Andre Evans coming up in, I think, the 16th. So, 4 days? You have the Billiot kid as well, and then you still got some elite guys. You haven't completed what you're going to do on the offensive line. Guys like Marcus Maskell. You look at in Texas, and you can look at one school, and obviously Colin Simmons is the top of one of those prospects that you can possibly get from the state of Texas. You're not done with recruiting. But Brian Kelly is achieving currently what he set out to do. Now, do you have to close with Wardell Mack and Dominic McKinley? Yes. But what if you get those pieces? What if you get those pieces and you're able to add the Colin Simmonses of the world? Then you start really looking at Brian Kelly and be like, yeah, man, you know what? He did his job. More than what we can say in past years when Alabama would come in here and pluck somebody that more than likely would have gone to LSU if you would have won some of the games. And don't tell me that winning doesn't matter. Winning clearly and 1,000% affects recruiting. Name a kid that you're worried about Alabama. Now, will they come in here and maybe get somebody? Okay, cool. Sounds good. Was LSU really after them? Probably not. You know, there's a kid that's committed to Alabama right now, and Sterling Dixon. You know, I love pancakes, and I love to watch him flip. Is that kid on Flip Watch? Regardless of how you are looking right now, the end product you're going to be completely okay with. The biggest question that you had coming into all of this was, could Brian Kelly recruit? Do you think Brian Kelly at Notre Dame had the recruiting staff there that he does here? No. No, he doesn't. No, he does not. Quite honestly, he never at Notre Dame had Frank. He never had Frank. And Frank Wilson, believe it or not, is a better overall recruiter now than he was when he was at LSU before. I'm telling you. I've seen it. So you start adding some pieces out of the portal. You start doing what you're doing in high school recruiting. You're going to have a top 5 class regardless, a consensus top 5 class regardless of what probably in what you're going to do. You're doing your job. You know, we talked about this at some length last night, and it bears repeating, and it always will bear repeating. Scott Woodward has assembled #Avengers. Avengers assemble. He has assembled all-star coaching lineups. And if Brian Kelly keeps recruiting at the level that he's recruiting, you're going to go on a run that you probably haven't seen in quite some time. Because the truth, there's really only 2 schools in your conference right now that recruit and have the talent that you have. It's Alabama and Georgia. It is. The only 2 teams in the conference right now, and arguably you can say 2 of maybe the 4 that you would compete with are in your conference. With the playoff expanding, with the things that's going on in the college football world, man, I am just telling you, winning matters. Atmosphere matters. It's a big day for recruiting when you're able to get a 4-star kid, an outright stud of an athlete, to stay home. It's a massive win for you. Look, I know this is going to sound conceited. I know that this is going to sound cocky. Louisiana kids are built different. Louisiana kids are built different. You know that. I mean, Zach, even though he's probably grew up in Tennessee, he's got those Cajun, well, I was going to say a bad word, but he's got those Cajun, I wanted to say it again, but he's got the Cajun blood in him. My point is this. If you've ever been in a situation where you are worried about Brian Kelly and recruiting, I've told you this before, and I will continue to tell you this. I'm less worried about Brian Kelly and LSU recruiting as a whole football-wise than I've ever been in doing this. Ever. We started AYS in 2017. I used to worry about Orgeron all the time in recruiting. Stories I would hear, things that recruits would tell us. You know, I published something that a recruit told me, and then they came out and said it was a lie, only for the recruit to go on national television and say it was the truth. So many things I would worry about with Orgeron. Recruiting was one of them. Brian Kelly's closing the door. You got to go get Billy Ott Young. You got to get McKinley, Wardell Mack, and others. You start doing that, you're going to be elite. I'm telling you, this class is going to be something special, man. And you're not done. You're not done. That's just kids inside the state. That's literally just locking your borders down. It's locking your borders down. No entry. Zero entry, sir. You think that you can come in here? Nuh-uh. No way. You're not coming in this house. So, again, of the 15 top prospects that you've gone after in football, you've gotten arguably 12 of them. Can you close with those final 3? Can you go to Texas and get Colin Simmons? Can you pull the Harold Perkins off again? So as much as Brian Driscoll, when he came out and said Brian Kelly can't recruit in the state of Louisiana, the question that needs to be happening for Notre Dame fans is it an LSU issue? Is it a Brian Kelly issue? Or is it a Notre Dame issue? I don't know, man. That's the ultimate question that they have to ask themselves. Chili says, Blake, what's the story with Tavion Galloway? Listen, I said this in the beginning of the show. Sometimes kids just decommit, man. And good on them. Good for them. Good for them. Yes, ma'am, we did. Tasha said I talked about the Rogers commitment today. Look, 6 foot, 185, plays quarterback, will play safety at LSU. I think as an athlete, an overall athlete, he's pretty good. I will say this. There are one thing I do worry about safeties that transition from offense to defense. I've always worried about that. It's something that we've talked about on the show a lot. I always worry about a quarterback transitioning to any position. I think this kid could do something special, though, because we've seen him play safety. We've seen him go on one-on-ones at that position and him look really damn good. Look really, really damn good. We've seen it with a couple of guys now. Zach, is something wrong with the audio? I don't think there's anything wrong with the audio. Okay. Maybe it's your phone, bud. Stephen Young says, ask Jay Johnson if winning matters for recruiting. Talk about it. Let's transition here. Speaking of recruiting, has there ever been a more savage soundbite in a game than what Jay Johnson did this weekend? Yeah, well, if you're in the transfer portal, I mean, holding no, Jay literally just said, I don't give a shit. I really just don't give a shit. If you are a good player in the portal, and I promise you this, at 7:27 p.m. Central Standard Time on 6/12/23, on the day of our Lord Jesus Christ. I stole a Matt Trent saying right there. He's not going to mind that I used it. Clip this. Of the 10 players, best players in the transfer portal in baseball, I guarantee you that Jay Johnson gets a minimum of 5 of them. I know of 3 of them that they're hot on the trail, one of them that possibly is about to commit. You thought that Tommy Tanks and Paul Skeens was a great addition? It was. It was Paul Skeens. Adding Paul Skeens is generational. Hell, if Tommy Tanks goes out there again next year and has 100 RBIs, I think you could say that's generational too. It really hasn't happened since Todd Walker. As a team of the top, listen to what I'm telling you, especially if you're out there in Duke. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Why do you think that kid, that third baseman, went to Duke? His recruiting coordinator is your third base coach. Of the top 10 guys, you're going to get 5 of them at minimum. Winning matters. There's not been a more savage recruiting pitch on national television than what Jay Johnson did this past weekend. Not to me. No way. No way. Can you see Kevin O'Sullivan? Baseball. Circle change. I go to the tanning bed. Like, that's Kevin O'Sullivan, right? I lay out on the summers after Omaha with my shirt off. I have a bass boat. I go to Destin, Florida. Like, tell me that that's not Kevin O'Sullivan. That's not how he looks. The head coach of Florida. My name is Bob. I can't see that, Matthew. I can't see it. I can't. I see it now. I mean, you're not wrong. Matt Trent's with us. He does he does have affairs too. He does have, God damn it. God damn it. Let's talk about Tyler Alexander, our good friend over at eXp Realty, and our good friend Steve Bean over there in Covington. Matt Trent's next.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Tyler Alexander is a local realtor right here in the Denham Springs, Louisiana area, and he services the entire South Louisiana area as well. Tyler is ranked in the top 2% of eXp realtors in the entire state. Buying or selling a home can be very stressful, but Tyler will make that process stress-free for you and your family and provide a customer experience for you, not just a customer service. Give him a call or text today on his personal cell, 225-955-0008. That's 225-955-0008, and let him get your home sold or transition you into a new one. Bayou Daiquiris at Bayou Bowl and Go is owned and operated locally by Steve and Lisa Bean. You can find them at 1512 North Highway 190 in Covington, Louisiana. That's 1512 North Highway 190 in Covington. The North Shore's first crawfish drive-thru is about to step it up another notch by bringing you drive-thru daiquiris as well. You can call in your order today at 985-888-1914, 985-888-1914, because you know what? Daiquiris and crawfish, it's a Louisiana thing.
We're back.
I had my mic muted. Matt Trent, WBRZ, the man, the myth, the legend. How are you doing?
How about that Tyler Alexander jingle? That is unreal.
My man's got him a jingle now.
I was like writing down some notes because there's some stuff that I want to make sure that I get to tonight. And it started up and I was like, that's unreal. That's really good.
Hey, but here's the thing. You'll remember the jingle. 927-0008.
It's good. It's got a George Strait kind of like old school Willie Nelson feel to it. So I'm here
I
for
really, every time I hear it, want to put on a thing of Wranglers, a fishing shirt, and a cowboy hat.
Well, you do that anyway.
Yeah, well, not the cowboy hat. You know who also wears cowboy hats in his spare time?
Who?
Dylan Cruz.
Dylan Cruz
Matt,
does a lot of things in his spare time.
Matt, listen. I know that you have been in Louisiana, specifically Baton Rouge, since 2019. You have seen a lot. I have been in this state my entire life. I've watched a lot of LSU stuff. I will tell you that last night, Dylan Cruz last at bat and Alex Box, a 2 RBI double in the top of the ninth, will go down in legend. I mean, it for a guy that we have all been talking about for 3 years, man. Oh, he's going to be the number one overall pick. Well, the number one overall pick just had probably the biggest moment in Alex Box since 17.
You know, what's funny when I was thinking about that too is, and this is the one thing that I loved about Jay Johnson. Let's just hypothetically go back to some of the old lineups, the more consistent lineups that Jay has rolled out there. You probably get Gavin Dugas in that situation yesterday, right?
Right.
You probably get Gavin Dugas or somebody else in that leadoff spot when the lineup turns over and you've got runners at second and third in that situation. Now Gavin
wouldn't have moved in the wild pitch. He would have gotten plunked again.
Yeah, right. And I'm not sitting here saying that Gavin wasn't capable of giving effort like that. But I'm just saying, like, that is one of the things that I've been so impressed with Jay, and people from the outside just see it as like, oh, he's tinkering and he's going matchups. Do you know how hard it is not to get arrogant with this lineup? Do you know how hard it is to have Dylan Cruz, Tommy White, Trey Morgan, Gavin Dugas, Kay Beloso, and the list goes on in that lineup and just say, we'll just throw something together and see what happens. Dude, he is meticulous with every single aspect. And I thought, too, like, Tommy White in the 2-hole was fantastic. I thought it was fantastic because you look again, how many times did Tommy White come up, runners in scoring position, even though he the soft chopper that he beat out, didn't do much.
Speed.
Oh, man. That's what I said the other day. I was like, Tommy Tanks looks like he was dragging one up the line at first.
It works, it works. If it works,
but that's the thing, man. Like, Jay has such a good feel for his opponent and kind of the situation of the game. It's almost as if he knows exactly the situation that's going to come up even before it happens. And if it doesn't, he's got 4 or 5 other options that he can plug and pull to have the same amount of success.
You know what's also interesting, listening to Skip, like talk to Dylan, in those clips when you're out in the field, like Cruz. I've seen a lot of good baseball here at the box. But what you did when he threw you the curveball is what first round and first overall picks do. How was my skip? Was that okay?
It's everybody has got like a different skip impersonation, and they're all different, but they're all very much the same. So yeah, that was like a 6 out of 10. I'll give you a
okay. I'm good with that. You know what my favorite word Skip Bergman's ever said? Curveball. Because the lip goes down on the bulb. Curveball. Yeah. And I'm like, what did he just say? Look, even him, speaking of that, I saw the clip from him going up to Tommy Tanks, and he's screaming. He goes, it skips like Tanks. He goes, you don't, and he's telling him this, like, listen, you don't understand that your presence alone is what happens when Dylan Cruz hits the double. He goes, I don't think that you understand that. So the pride that Dylan Cruz has at standing on second, he's there because, look, if you're not behind him, he's getting walked. Which, why, Matt? I mean, look, I like Nick Mangione. I know a lot of people don't like him, but, Jay's talked about their friendship or whatever. I don't think he's that bad of a dude. But man, I mean, not to walk Cruz, and I get that you got tanks, but man, it was just, man, what a moment! What a moment for LSU fans and just baseball in general.
It's this whole lineup. It's kind of the Paul Skeens effect with the offense, right? Like every weekend, teams are planning for Saturday and Sunday, because you know what's going to happen on Friday. You know what he's going to do to you on Friday. So it's like, all right, we can scrap that one. And then we'll just literally plan for Ty Floyd and TBD on Sunday. That's kind of how this lineup is. Dylan Cruz comes up. Well, I really would like to walk him here, even though you walked him 4 times. Like I really want to do this. But then again, I don't really want to pitch to Tommy White either, and vice versa. Like you can go up and down the lineup with that too. And that's another thing. That's some coaches, again, when we're talking about arrogance with the lineup, some coaches will just automatically Dylan Cruz and Tommy White together. Don't care if it's, 2-hole, 3-hole, lead off, 2-hole, whatever, automatically got. And it hadn't been that way all year. Like if they hadn't been conjoined at the hip, and they've been spread apart with a hitter or two behind, in front of them or behind them or whatever. I just think that this lineup is about as complete as I think we've seen in college baseball and we might ever see. Just in the turn. And two, like we get lost in we're hitting, bombs everywhere and stuff. This team can bunt. This team can move runners. This team hits for average, hits for power. It does everything offensively. There's nothing that Jay Johnson is given and goes, I can't do that with this offense.
Yeah, and Matt, really what busted things out yesterday for this team was you got 2 singles before K. Beloso. You get this. I mean, and that's what opens the floodgates in all of this. Speaking on Skeens, I don't know what, Matt, here's the thing. When I was doing this in 19, I had this kind of same feeling about Burrow. I get it about Cruz sometimes, but I definitely get it about Skeens. As a former collegiate pitcher yourself, I think that he was trying to pitch to contact in that game 1 scenario. And then if you notice in the 6th, he had 6 strikeouts after the 6th. Right? Like he was locked, like, hey man, my pitch count's starting to get a little up. I'm going to start getting these guys out of here. Did it look like to you Saturday that he was trying to pitch to contact versus trying to strike guys out like maybe he tried in game 1 and Kentucky made him pay for it?
A little bit. Like I think Paul has a very good sense of every lineup because he's so prepared. He knows lineups that he can overpower a little bit. He knows lineups that, if I want to expand the zone, I can't expand it as wide as I could with these guys or whatever. I think maybe a little bit of that, but I think too, Paul, maybe over the past month-ish, maybe 3 or 4 starts, has really been trying to not be as fine once it gets to 2 strikes. Instead of like, okay, I'm going to get it 0-2, and then I'm going to go slider for, just a throwaway pitch to get you maybe swinging. And then guys don't swing at it, then it's 1-2, and then I got to come back. He wants to put dudes away in 4 pitches or less. It's like, all right, let's, especially now that they're letting him go deeper in games, the complete game against Tulane, and we're getting into the 8th inning, where the 9th inning is always an option now with him, especially as we're going to Omaha. I think it's really been an emphasis on, all right, let's stop screwing around with these dudes. If you can put them away in 4 or less, do it, and let's get on down the road.
We have 2 texts, one from Peter and one from Alex. Matt, what kind of hat are you wearing, and why are you wearing it backwards? That's from Peter.
We just got our new WBRZ hats for Omaha, so I was just like trying them out, stretching them out, and I just wanted to wear it like this.
Question from Blake Ruffino on the text line. Will you bring your camouflage AYS hat to Omaha?
Maybe, yeah. It's actually a good point. Yeah. I mean, I'm obviously not going to wear it on air, but I might bring it. Yeah.
Goodness no. I mean, you should, but goodness no.
I should, but
you kind of like your job.
contractual obligations.
And okay, getting back to Skeens, I like that hat. But getting back to Skeens, man, he's just look. He's gonna if he gets more than one start in Omaha, he's gonna break Ben's record.
Yeah, he's 14 away.
Well, and here's another thing, Matt. He did it in 40 less innings. That's the thing for me.
So you know what's crazy? And I was talking to Ben McDonald about this, I think, before the Tulane game. And I can't remember I can't remember exactly because it was something wild. So Ben threw all those innings in the year that he set the single season. Then I think he went and threw for Team USA in the summer.
Yeah, he threw over 300 innings in 18 months.
Dude.
Right.
And then he was saying, like, in high school, I think like before the summer before or whatever before he went to LSU, I mean, he threw like it was like 30 innings in 3 days or just something crazy in the playoffs where they needed him, you know, and they had to play all these like a limit. It's some crazy. And I was like, bro, did y'all even know what arm care was back then? He was like, dude, I barely even iced. He'd be like, I would throw, and then the next day they were like, Ben, can you go close it out for an inning? He's like, yeah, okay. I just threw 120 the day before. I think that is, and I'll have to get the exact story and the exact number of innings, but he was sitting there and telling me, and it was like, yeah, I threw like a complete game, like 7 innings this game, then came back the next day and threw 4 in relief, and then championship game, closed it out, and then the next game of the championship series, I threw another complete game, and it's like, dude, your UCL must look like crab meat right now. I mean, it is just frayed and just fragile as all get out.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really, really good point. That, you know what Ben really had at LSU, if you go watch his own films, good curveball. But never – I love that guy. I love that man, curveball. But I agree with you. But, you know, and I think Skeens is on that level. Now, Skeens, I think we went and looked this up last week during the show. I think it was like 65 innings as a freshman, 80 innings as a sophomore, and then now he's obviously well over the 100. So his arm care – I do.
And I know what I want to get to too.
Okay.
I want to get to too. When you're speaking about arm care, because I saw a lot of people on Twitter when the news of
you're talking about Stanford.
Wes Johnson broke, and everybody was like, he needs to be fired because he's the reason all these dudes had Tommy John and blah 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 and all this stuff, which is it's just another planet of dumb. Okay.
Yes, it's another planet of dumb.
Let me tell you this, and Jay has talked about this, and guys on the team have talked about this, and I haven't really gotten into it, but they brought it up on the broadcast, so I might as well mention it. You know what Paul Skeens' average fastball was when he was at Air Force, miles per hour?
93.
It was 93 miles an hour.
Right.
Do you know what it is now?
98.5.
98. Okay.
Right.
Do you know he's hitting over 100 miles an hour consistently every single start, and he's holding it in the last inning down to the last pitch of every single start?
Well, man,
Ty Floyd, another one. Average fastball last year was around
93. Right.
93. Okay. You know what it is now? It's like 95.
96. Right.
96. Okay. So for people to sit there and go, Wes Johnson is the cause of all these injuries. Wes Johnson has done more in the fall and preseason of this season in terms of velocity jumps, in terms of body, like structure and strength and all that stuff than any pitching coach at LSU, maybe in the history of college baseball. And I'll put it up against anybody. Because you can't tell me a dude – now, look, Paul Skeens is not doing the two-way deal anymore, so that helped, obviously.
He's not flying jet planes.
And he's not doing all the other Air Force stuff. That is –
right.
I get it. That is a big deal, too. But you can't tell me a dude goes from 93 to 103 without some high-level training.
Yeah, and look – Skeens is the massive thing that people look at along with Floyd because you see them the most. They have the most innings on the team. They have the most action on the team, etc. Here's the thing for me. Now, we're going to find out about Grant Taylor here in, I think, about 2 weeks. God, in NIL and great thing. I'll circle back to that. But nevertheless, you know what? The biggest transformation that I think in season that people need to look at, his name's Gavin Guidry. Matt, go back and watch Game 3 versus Kentucky in April. He was spiking fastballs left and right. To now that you're in a situation, he is now the reliever that has the least amount of least ERA on the team, the best strikeout to walk ratio on the team. He has become a position player from the fall to arguably your best reliever right now.
And here's the thing too. If next year, like depending on how high Jordan Thompson gets drafted, if he comes back,
he's going to play shorter second.
Yeah, he's playing in one of those middle infield spots. Now, I think that Jay, seeing what the jump that Paul made, not doing two-way, and the progress that Gavin made this entire year by not hitting,
right.
I think Jay has got that's one of my things to watch. Is that do we keep Gavin in that role and develop him into a starter, or do we kind of do the two-way deal where his bat's really good and we can bring him in a relief for a couple innings to close stuff out?
If he plays second, I think they're going to do it. I hear chirping, like we were talking about something that's going to break within the next couple of hours, I think. But I think he could play second and do it. But let me ask you this. Well, you know a scout and I know a scout really well, okay? You know what he told me today about, he's like, Blake, you don't even understand what this team would look like with Grant Taylor. Like people don't get it. He goes, Blake, you do know that it would be arguably the best 1-2 punch, not just in the country, but in LSU's history. He said that you have people like, obviously Skeens has it, but that watched Taylor pitch and was like, Blake, we're going to take him in the first round. Like it's happening. You got a scout with 4 Major League Baseball rings telling you that, okay? Here's my point. Wes has done some really good things. It was the ultimate dumb take to say that he was doing bad. Riley Cooper's locked in. I think Ackenhausen, Thatcher Hurd, for crying out loud. Matt, you did the story. I mean, the guy's back's messed up, and he's coming out there and delivering.
I'll tell you another story. Had a conversation with someone. This was probably this was around Alabama weekend, I think. Had a conversation with someone. And they said they brought Hurd in or whatever. And he's like, God, this kid sucks. He sucks. I can't stand it. And yeah, like nobody's blind. Everybody knew that Thatcher came into the season hurt, was having to battle through some stuff. And we knew this wasn't a finished product. But yeah, his results also weren't matching the talent. And I told the kid, who's a current media member, I said, when he figures it out, it is going to be scary. Because I watched the kid in the fall when he was still kind of battling back through the injury. Stuff was good. It's a big league curveball. Okay? That's what it is.
Can I say it? Can I say it?
It's a big league curveball.
It is. Matt, it's the highest spin rate that LSU's had on an off-speed or slider curveball since they've been tracking it since 18. Like really tracking the spin rate, like really getting after it. I mean,
and if you watched him against, damn, now my memories.
Are you talking? Well, Auburn, South Carolina.
No, I'm talking about Oregon State. Excuse me, Oregon State. When I watched it, because I watched it, obviously I was there, but then I went back and watched it on the broadcast. That curveball had 2 different peaks. Okay, the get me over, and then the one that he throws to get a strikeout. It had 2 different peaks, but the sharpness was still the same. It was slower on one and harder on another one, But the fact that it still had that just right off the table, and then he was throwing it for a strike, and then he could change the depth of it, everything. I was like, he's good.
Yeah, look, the spin. You know how in the slider you got the little spin on the circle when it's coming
you
down.
see the dot on it.
You see the dot on it, right? I had it explained like this to me: if the spin rate is correct, it's so bad that the dot is moving like a picture, like a circle picture, and then going down. So then you don't know where to swing at it. Now that in and of itself is ridiculous. We do have a couple questions firing in here for you. Justin Owens, our good friend, our good coach over at Springfield. He says, Matt, do you save skeins for Wake? Serious question.
Dude, I was just going to talk about that too. I'm throwing all analytics. I'm throwing all game planning, all strategery, as my buddy George W. Bush used to say. Strategery. I call upon all nations to come together.
There's a saying in Tennessee, it might be in Texas, but definitely in Tennessee. Fool me once, can't be fooled again.
To come together against this axis of evil. Now watch me hit this drive.
Can I tell you a very quick guilty pleasure? I will literally go on YouTube and listen to him speak.
100%. Oh my God.
Oh my God, dude. It's so great. He did the SNL bit one time. He's like, my fellow Iraqianites. Anyway, continue on the Wake.
I do not care about Jay planning out the pitching staff. I don't care about any of that stuff. Me as a baseball fan, a media member,
you want to see him go against Wake.
I want to see Rhett Lauder versus Paul Skeens. I want to see it. I want to see it for 9 innings. I want to see it for 200 pitches if they can do it. I want to see it. I want to see it.
Hot take. You ready? I got ripped alive on this, but I'm going to tell you my backing. LSU was 10-3 against super regional teams. Okay, super regional teams. They're 10-3 on the year. Well, now they're 12-3. You know what Wake Forest is? 4-1. They have not, and Lauder has not seen this lineup, buddy. I am telling you, he is not.
Look, he's
really good, but
he's very good. He's probably going to be the first or second pitcher taken after Skeens.
No, and look, you don't get an argument from me. You're not going to. However, as a former collegiate, it's like any sport, Matt. When you haven't seen something like that, where's the break? He could go through any team in the ACC not named Virginia, which, by the way, they did not play. Matt, they missed every team in the ACC worth a damn.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, is like, and I hate it because growing up in North Carolina, like ACC baseball is, in terms of just intensity, it's right up there with ACC basketball back in the day.
Look at North Carolina all those years, man. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Dude, and I watched a little bit of the ACC tournament, and it was hard to watch. Like, Carolina's down, NC State is hit or miss. Virginia had
a late player in the ACC. Matt's at LSU.
Yeah, and Virginia had a late surge, and I played them every single year, and they were unbelievable. They're not. They're obviously good, but it's not Virginia in 2015.
Yeah, that 2015 when they won the Natty.
2008 to 15. They were just unbelievable.
Right.
And then Clemson. Clemson lost their own damn regional
to Tennessee.
So yeah, I get the narrative of they haven't played anybody, Paul, but
it's real here though, Matt. It
is. No, yes, it is. But I'm still not discounting what they've done because
I agree.
They got some dudes now. They got some dudes.
Now listen, for me as a fan, and I know that you're going to make fun of me for this, and it's okay. I think you're going to agree on this, though, deeply. I want Southern Miss. I don't care. It has nothing to do with being able to throw Floyd against a Southern Miss. None of that. Against Tennessee, none of it, happens. I want revenge for Jay. I want revenge for when I was sitting behind home plate and got berated for 9 straight innings. That's what I wanted. Like one guy saying my titty nipples are sideways, and I told him that his mama doesn't have teeth and wants to take me out on a date. They were, man, I've been doing this since 2017. I've never met a fan base worse.
Now look, I will wholeheartedly disagree with you because my fiance is a Southern Miss alum, and I have met some fantastic fans.
How's their jambalaya? How's their jambalaya? Let me tell you, it tastes like ass crack. That's what it tastes like. The very tip of the edge of the buttocks is what it tastes like. Them people don't know how to cook.
Yeah, but I think all of us know too. Like, yes, I know LSU fans.
I want them, Matt.
I know, but you want revenge. But you have to know that that's not the same team last year, and it wouldn't. LSU beats them by 10 this year. Like, I'm sorry, they do. So that is that really fun?
Well, you know what's interesting. I went back and looked this up. Other than yesterday with Ty Floyd, every time that he's faced a draftable pitcher, like a guy that will go in the draft, Matt, last year against Hurston Waldrop, he dealt.
Yeah, he did. And remember, he pitched against Dolander in Hoover.
Correct. And you know what else? Dude, look, I'm not going to write. Jay said it perfectly. Look, he gave up 3 home runs. I like the matchup with Cooper. Man, he wasn't pitching bad. I mean, it wasn't that bad. He's got to get back. But as a fan, I want Southern Miss. All right, I got another one here for you. Chili Vic says, #Ask Trent. Who would be his choice for pitching coach to keep this improvement going? Let me tell you where I'm leaning. It's not final yet. Okay. And if it was, and we said it, Jay would literally have both of our heads on a pike. I think he might go out to A&M and take a look. That again, not confirmed, just hearing some things, but Yeski has been.
Yeah. I've been told, because of a lot of it's carrying over from last year, Ostrander at Southern Miss.
Even taking
though he's the head coach, again, I think the pitching coach at LSU versus the head coach at Southern Miss.
Well, he would, in fairness, and look, I'm going to do a little Big J journalism. Matt, we got the public records request for how much Ostrander was making because LSU Southeastern reached out to Scott Berry. I will report that, okay? He's making $150. West was making $412,000.
I just know too because he was in the mix last year with everything. There was rumblings that he was there, and I know Jay likes him a lot. Jay thinks he's a fantastic pitching coach. I just think it's going to be tough because how well West did. And, dude, when you just bring a big league dude in there, it's just different. So kind of going back to someone who doesn't have that experience is going to be on the surface kind of like a settle. There's nobody – I don't know. You and I have talked about that as well. Ostrander is another name. Outside of that, I don't know. But I can tell you, I wouldn't expect anything to be done during Omaha, obviously.
I agree, but I think that Jay wants to talk to a major league pitching coach and then find out. The guy that makes the most money in Major League Baseball as a pitching coach, it's Greg Maddox's brother. You know what he doesn't make? He didn't make more than Wes Johnson last year.
Which is wild, too, when you think about it.
Well, Matt, can I tell you, is it?
A big league coach can't make $400,000? Think about that.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But you know what it tells me, too? You know why people get pissed off at Major League Baseball? Spend the money.
Spend it. Spend it to spend it.
Spend the money.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because too, like,
Matt, how are they getting outbid by how does a major league team get outbid by LSU?
I mean, that's a pretty easy question.
I know it's an easy question, but if you really like sit down and think about it for a minute, like, come on.
But because too, I just think that from a hierarchical standpoint, pitching coach is pretty much the first after the the manager, right?
Correct.
I mean, he's always the most notable.
Correct.
He's always the most notable. He's always the one that is more visible.
That's correct.
Because your hitting coach is, well, I don't know. Your hitting coach sometimes can maybe coach third.
Ron Washington is the only non. I looked this up. Is one of the couple only non-pitching coaches that is the associate head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, again. Oh God.
Yeah,
no. Did you see this?
No. Yeah, no.
I know that my guy Paul's just joking, but did you see this?
No. I can tell you emphatically that is a big hell no.
Oh God.
No.
All right, let me end it with you here. You know I got to ask a football question. I thought Brian Kelly couldn't recruit.
I was listening to you talk about that. You were talking about Joel Rogers and how athletic he is. I talked to his former coach this weekend, Hudson Fuller, who's now at Catholic. He was the coach at Westphal for all those years. And I asked him about Joel, and they said that because I don't remember him playing safety. I only remember him playing quarterback.
Right.
And Hudson goes, he was so athletic, we had to. He was such a stud athlete. We were like, well, damn, if he can play defense, let's just stick him out there. And
Matt, you know what's wild? He did the 707 for Westphal. Okay, they won that game. He turns around, goes to LSU, plays a little safety. I think 3 plays in, has a pick 6.
He is.
I mean, the dude. But here's the biggest thing for me. I'm not getting off this take until something changes. LSU has the top 15 recruiting board of kids inside the state of Louisiana. They've got 12 of them. The last time that's happened, there was a little short guy named Nick here. It happened in 2001. Orgeron, Les, all of them had let some kids slip out.
Yeah.
Why didn't Brian Kelly be such a bad recruiter?
I tell you though, like for me, 2 kids that I think are really going to seal it in terms of his recruiting ability and keeping him in state, which I don't see any reason why they wouldn't, is Keelan Moses at U-High, obviously, just simply because Orgeron let Dylan, his brother, get out of state, go to Alabama. Not only, well, technically out of state twice because he went to IMG and then he went to Alabama. So technically out of state twice. You let him leave for high school.
I'm not going to blame Ed on that one. I think that was a tough situation all around.
Yeah, I do too. But still, you have to know when a prospect like that leaves Baton Rouge and goes to a place like IMG, it's normally not a good sign.
Hey, I mean, but on the flip side, you got Patrick Queen out of it. And I would take that 10 times out of 10, which is so crazy. You know what was so crazy about Ed, man, when you talk about luck, last thing, he would lose a dude, and then he would get a Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He would lose a receiver, and then he would get a Justin Jefferson. That is what is that, Matt, listen, let's call it, that's a little luck. That's a little luck, baby.
But it's also like, and look, nobody is going to mistake Ed Orgeron for a rocket scientist. Nobody. But it was one of those things where you've got Les Miles telling Jamar Chase that he wanted him to play DB. And then you've got Ed being like, what? No, he's playing receiver. Like, just bring him in here. No, and the other one, Keelan Moses and I mean, really, we've got 3 more seasons of Blaine Bradford at Catholic. the safety.
Okay, so you're literally the fourth person to tell me that in a week. Now I guess I don't remember the kid as much as I should have.
Well, let me tell you, I saw him a little bit. I covered a couple Catholic games this year when he was a freshman playing. He played varsity baseball, and I saw him again this weekend at 7-on-7. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's put it this way. When they were playing, Catholics was playing Carr at the LSU 7-on-7 camp.
Right.
I saw Jordan Osmar there on the field hovering. I saw Joe Sloan hovering. I saw Matt Houston around that side of the field, and I saw who
Steeples.
else? No,
Cooks.
wasn't Steeples. I think it might have been Kerry Cooks. Can't remember. There was like 4 coaches. Now I'm not saying they were there like eyes. So they were around.
Just so happened to be around.
Just so happened to be around. I know Jordan Arsenal pulled up in his golf cart and stopped in the end zone to watch him.
Interesting.
He is a dude. He is a dude. And he's going to be a sophomore this year. He is a dude.
Where the hell do these kids come from?
I don't know, but like he's already got, I think, like a handful of SEC offers already.
But where are these? I mean, like Matt, look, Louisiana's a lot of things. Love them or like them. Okay, hate them. One thing you can't say, dog, they gonna put out some DBs. I mean, Matt, we're to a point right now, okay, where legitimately a third of the NFL DBs that are getting drafted. I mean,
bro, it's crazy too, and it's not just like you see dudes and they're playing DB and they're just crazy athletic, but they just really don't have good. And I hate this term so much. Ball skills. Pause. Like they don't have that, and I'll be totally honest, I'm not even sure what that means from a football standpoint, but you just also see dudes when the ball's in the air, they're like, yeah, that's mine. It's nobody else's but mine. And the closing speed and just, I mean, I watched Blaine Bradford for 2 games when they Catholic played Woodlawn and Catholic played Carr. Yep.
Yeah, and Carr's got some kids, man.
Carr, you talking about where these kids come from? Carr got them.
I know.
And we're not talking about kids that are 5'10", and you're like, well, they're tweeners. We might be able to take him at DB. We're talking 6'1", 6'2", long arms, speed, athleticism, and they want to hurt you.
Algiers, America, man.
Great documentary too.
Yeah, it's and you know what's wild about that? Looking into football, buddy, the world ain't seen Aaron Anderson yet. Aaron
Anderson was there this weekend.
I know. I saw him. Freaking out when his team caught it. Look, when I had a player, okay, tell me that when they're already doing workouts, right? I had a player tell me he needs to stop being the fastest dude on the field. Matt, and look, when you got Chris Hilton, when you got some of those dudes out there, and
think about having to defend that. Think about having to defend Chris Hilton.
Brian Thomas, Malik.
And then you've got Brian Thomas on the edge that you can just throw up, and he's got a 40-inch vertical that he can just jump in the end zone on fade routes. All right, cool.
It's going to get interesting. Look, all right, we're probably going to obviously have you on, but thoughts on Omaha weekend? Very quickly, projection?
Like for the entire tournament?
No, let's just go weekend.
I think I'm not really worried whoever comes out of Tennessee's Southern Miss. I'm not worried at all. That team, Tennessee is not the same. Dolander is still going to be a first-round pick, but he's not the same as he was last year. The whole pitching staff is not the same. I think they've got more talent than Southern Miss, but Southern Miss is more concentrated, if that makes sense.
They're more of a
Now,
team. They got
a lot of dudes, that know their role, know what they do best, and they do that to the best of their ability. I think they're hot right now, but I nothing scared me. But again, I cannot stress this enough. I want Paul Skeens versus Rhett Lauder. I want it, and I need it, and I need it yesterday. It's my money, and I need it now.
Call JG Whitworth.
I need it. Also,
Cash now.
Take this moment to plug the great Old North State, Rhett Lauder from the great town of Albemarle, North Carolina, from North Stanley High School, was the 491st overall prospect by perfect game as a senior. Think about that for a moment. Think about that.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things like Dylan Cruz was talking about. Probably should go to college. Probably should go to college and get the.
So listen, I'm just going to say this as I get you out of here. Dylan Cruz doing this and doing this and doing the heart and doing this.
It wiggled for you, didn't it?
It did. You know why, Matt? Let me tell you why. Look, I'm okay with NIL. I'm okay with the portal. Like, you want to go somewhere, you want to make money, I'm all with you. When there comes a kid, regardless if it's LSU, Kentucky, Rudy Poo State University, when a kid starts talking about the name in the front besides the back, they don't. Jay's right. They don't make it like that dude anymore.
I'll give you a great story talking about like what Jay Johnson is able to do with a program. And I don't know if anybody saw. I think I sent to you Leah Van's tweet that was like, last year I ran in Omaha to an Arizona fan who was just there at Omaha just to watch it. And he was like, yeah, we've got this coach. His name is Jay Johnson, and he's totally transformed our program. In 2006, I was a high school senior, and I was like, fall of 2005, I was playing on like a travel ball showcase team in the fall with the facility that I like worked out with and trained at. And we're all like college level players, all playing just to get exposure, whatever. And we had this dude who was from Virginia, pitcher, threw so hard. Like so hard. He was getting recruited by the ACC, Pac-12, like everywhere. He was a stud. He got a call one night doing homework from Arizona. Okay, this is 05. Okay. He got a call from Arizona. He was like, no, didn't even take the call. I remember him telling me, he goes, last night I was doing homework and my dad came in with the phone. This is landlines for all you old kids. Right. And he had the phone and he said, Arizona's on the phone. He goes, yeah, I'm not taking that. Just turn it down. Now, fast forward, 10, 15 years when Jay was there. Now kids are begging to take calls from Arizona. And I'm not saying that like LSU has ever been a program where people have been like, I don't want to take that. Past couple years, though, it's been like.
Yeah, and I've said this. If this were football recruiting, Jay Johnson and Paul Maneri would have been fired a long time ago because of in-state recruiting.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and it would have Paul would have gone through look, man, you can't let those kids from Louisiana go to Texas, buddy.
I mean,
you can't let that happen.
Is anybody now? But also too, like,
no, not of the ones. There's a kid from Mandeville's committed, the Blake Mitchell kid, and
all I'm saying is that you don't turn down a phone call from Nick Saban. It's getting to the point where you don't turn down a phone call from Brian Kelly. Okay, definitely not going to turn down a phone call from Kim Mulkey. Okay.
Well, Matt, I know what you're about to say. He already has Connor Griffin signed or committed.
Yeah. Yeah. And two, like, I know Paul was big on like, he liked to go to California. He liked to go nationally a little bit. And he did do that. But there were some states that they just kind of really didn't have a whole ton of success in.
I mean, that's right.
Getting high level kids now. You can't tell me, and this is a credit to Paul. You can't tell me that you can go in and snag Dylan Cruz out of the state of Florida. Back when Florida was going to Omaha every day, Florida State was still with Mike Martin, and they're going to Omaha a ton.
And beating you in the Supers.
You know, Miami is what they are all the time. That's what Jay Johnson is doing in every state now.
I know.
He's going into Texas. He's going into Florida, California, even, New York, and just poking his head in, see what they got.
Right. All right, buddy. You going to Omaha?
Not leaving 9:45 in the morning, me and Big Cobbs.
All right.
You going to be there?
If they go to the championship series, but I got to sell enough T-shirts first. So
you're not going. Wait a minute. You're not going to Omaha. You're going to wait till they get to the championship series.
I mean, I can't. I mean, look.
Ben is old enough to get a job. Okay.
Tell me about.
Tell him to get a job and start contributing to this family.
Well, I mean, he's on a very strict workout regimen. I mean, we call him Baby Gronk Jr. So
don't even. You want to get my blood pressure boiling?
I know. He was on with JB today. He was on the Believe Network. Baby Gronk.
I'm sure JB ripped him a new one though.
He did. He called him a dumbass like 17 times. Yeah. I mean, live on the Believe Network on Fubo TV. He said, like you have
who says that? Like who just calls?
He asked him if he had SDS.
What did the dad say? Was the dad?
I love football. This is what he said, Matt. On God, he literally on national television went out there and said, "Well, I play Madden. I love football. I've always loved football. My son's gonna love football." I texted the CEO Braun that was on our show last week. And I go, "What the fuck did he just say?"
So bro plays Madden and thinks he's a football player. I've taken a lot of flights, but that doesn't mean I'm a pilot.
He said he's ordained. This is what he said. He said, "I ordained it from their birth." That's what he said.
What?
Loser, bro. Loser. He better be glad JB got him, because if I would have got him, it would have been much worse.
Has he DM'd you to come on?
He goes, "Bro, like, let's get on the show. Let's talk about his commitment to LSU." And I'm like, blocked.
Did you block him, really?
I muted him. Yeah, I mean,
why not have him on?
The kid's 10, Matt. The kid's 10.
Not the kid, the dad.
Because it's not about him. It's about what I would say verbally. I would go to prison.
Yeah, just have the kid.
I don't play with that, bro. I don't play with that, man. Like, there's certain things you just don't do.
Yeah, but I think everybody needs a reality check every once in a while, right? Like I just read the article on Barstool where all these media people are posting the DMs that guy is sending, and kind of like to expose him that, dude, it's not about your kid. It's about you profiting off your son.
That's 1,000% what's going on. It's 1,000%. All right, I got to roll, Matthew. We'll see you in Omaha. Love you, dude. Can't even get a love you back. It's Matt Trent, WBRZ. We got to roll. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.